Welcome to the Bulldog Breakdown, week number 13 of the college football season. Georgia will take on Texas A&M Saturday in Athens. But let's look back at the Auburn victory. Bulldogs up 21-0. Hold on to win 21-14 in a great atmosphere at Jordan-Hare. I think it was the best atmosphere in college football this past weekend.
Dogs go on the road and they win a primetime game. Auburn had a week off, but congratulations to the Dogs and Kirby Smart. Third straight year where they clinched the East. That's never an easy thing to do, and that's super impressive. And I think you got to start with this defense. They are the best defense in the country. And to hold Auburn's offense with a dual threat quarterback, I know he's a freshman, but you saw him. He can make plays with his arms and his legs. And up until the fourth quarter, they're pitching another shutout. And for the people that are complaining that Kirby and Dan Lanning got into this prevent defense in the fourth quarter, my argument to that counteract is why wouldn't you? If I'm up 21 points, if they go 12 plays and take 6 minutes off the clock and score, I'll tip my cap to them. What I'm not going to do is play cover zero and bring the house and blitz and let them score in 2 plays. So, yeah, I don't understand that criticism. I thought the defense played well. Their pass efficiency to stop the run. I mean, and what's impressive, Buck, is they don't have a first-round draft pick. They don't have a guy who's going to be an All-American. There's no DeAndre Baker or elite pass rusher. They just play a lot of guys, and I think what you see and you see a lot of games, especially late in the season, is in the fourth quarter, because they play so many bodies, they're healthy and they're fresh, whereas a lot of teams who only have a minimal rotation, they're kind of worn down.
Well, I really liked how they set the edge, especially early in the game. We hear a lot about Gus Malzahn scheming something up with extra time. Georgia didn't allow that big play early in the game, really set the edge, didn't allow Malzahn to get that ball outside. I like that. And I like the way they made him one-dimensional, really stuffed that Auburn run game. Whitlow, not much of an impact out of him. This defense, especially at the end of the game where they had to get the stop. And it's great seeing Walker, the freshman from Thomaston, come out. It looked like lined up at defensive tackle, all 6'5", 290 pounds of him, on a twist, a stunt inside, got some pressure on Nix, and with the athleticism Walker has, I don't think there are many quarterbacks are going to outrun him.
I think a couple of the crucial plays, the one you're talking about, Whitlow on 4th and 2, where Lord knows what in the world Auburn was trying to run with a jet sweep motion and back out the backdoor corner, and then, the stop they got where, Bo threw a bad ball on 4th and 2 out in the flat. So some of those crucial 4th down stops that allowed Georgia to give the ball back to their offense. But here's the thing. I mean, how many offenses, now has Georgia made just look silly? I mean, that's a good Auburn team who their couple losses are to all top 10 teams.
17 points, the most we've given up.
Yeah, 17 points, the most we've given up. But, everybody thinks that Auburn team, because they got 3 losses now, is a bad team.
The South Carolina game.
Yeah, but that Auburn team's lost to LSU. They've lost to Georgia, Alabama. I mean, that's a good team. They got a brutal schedule. So they made that offense look, like you said, one-dimensional, and they made it look like JV is what they made it look like. That's how good that defense is for Georgia.
As far as the Georgia offense goes, Jake Fromm with the 3 touchdown passes. And I think getting that explosive play early in the game, they cross midfield, they take a shot. And what you're going to see on this play, the touchdown pass to Blaylock, is a really clean pocket.
Yeah.
As we had 5 offensive linemen blocking a 4-man rush. Wilson took care of Big Cat Bryant. Andrew Thomas took care of Truesdale on that left side. Kenley was going to give Trey Hill a little help on Derek Brown, who Steele, the Auburn defensive coordinator, had lined up over Trey Hill early in the game. Trey Hill absolutely dogged Derek Brown on that play. Just tossed him down at the end of the play there. Just so impressive to see Trey Hill protecting like that. It was a clean pocket. Jake looked left. Kearis Jackson didn't have any separation. He had the clean pocket, so he was able to turn and look all the way back to the other side of the field. Seeing that post pattern to Blaylock, it was a beautiful thing and a big play. I thought it was the biggest play of the game.
Good to see the freshman get involved. You're right. He had like 5 Mississippi to throw the football. And I went into the game, Buck, thinking that Auburn was going to be able to get pressure with their 4-down linemen because they were that good. And this Georgia offensive line, I mean, Auburn didn't start getting pressure and some sacks until they brought perimeter blitz. And, that's when you got to get the ball out quick and you got to have answers in the hot route. But Auburn's 4-down defensive linemen could not get pressure on Jake Fromm. That play you're talking about, Fromm went all the way back to like his second or third progression and dropped a dime in. I mean, this offensive line, and it's kind of like defense. It's not sexy, so nobody really talks about it, but Fromm is given so much time in the pocket, and that's what makes him so hard to defend, because he can process information quickly and go boom, boom, boom. But you can't do that if you don't have time to throw the football. So these guys up front are, I'd be surprised if they don't get the award for the best offensive line in the country this year.
Swift got his 100 yards. The one problem that resurfaced was the inability, once Cager went down or came out of the game, re-injured that shoulder injury after his first catch in the first quarter. He comes out of the game, and Georgia's young wide receiver core continues to have trouble getting open against quality bump man-to-man coverage, and that resurfaced again.
Yeah, 9-3 an ounce, and really after that touchdown pass, you saw Georgia kind of get stagnant offensively, and specifically in the passing game. That's my concern for Georgia, is when teams commit to stopping the run, they don't really have an answer in the passing game, and especially when Lawrence Cager leaves. So, Georgia, the way they play right now, it's working because they don't turn the ball over and they run the ball well, but I've got a big concern when you take those things away, or if Georgia has to play from behind, if the style in which they play right now would allow them to play a different way or come from behind or something like that, say against LSU if they got down early. So
got to keep working with Pickens and Blaylock and Jackson, these young guys, get them coached up. Maybe a light comes on here at the end of the year. We'll come back, talk about the Texas A&M game coming up next here on the Bulldog Breakdown. Be a part of radio history here in Atlanta by securing the 680 The Fan 25th Anniversary Retro T-shirt, like Hutson Mason and I are wearing right now.
Great thing is all proceeds will go to a great cause. Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, all the great folks over there will benefit from it. You can get your shirt and hat, trucker hat. That's always great for the summertime. 680thefan.com/retrobug. People may get that confused with Metro because we're going to look so good in it.
Don't fool around. Do it now and be looking good. Buck Belue, Hutson Mason, Bulldog Breakdown. Let's talk about this Texas A&M game. Senior day in Athens at Sanford Stadium. Texas A&M, I noticed, below average. Their defense is going up against the run game. Yeah. Not a good formula for success when you're taking on Georgia.
No, it's not at all. And, remember, Texas A&M is another one of these teams that Georgia's playing in the second half that's coming off a bye week. And Jimbo Fisher's a really good coach, and defensively they've had their struggles, but offensively I think Kellen Mond is by far the best quarterback that we've seen up to this point. He's a combination of maybe the kid they saw from Notre Dame, Ian Book with the arm mixed with maybe Bo Nix's legs, and I know Kirby talked about yesterday just his progression that since Jimbo's gotten there as a passer and a runner, so this defense is going to have their hands full.
Yeah, and you'd like to see Georgia's offense get the passing game going a little bit.
That's a big ask.
I'm expecting the run game to hit home because of A&M's inability to really do a good job against the run this year. Look for Swift to have a big day, but Georgia needs to continue to get better as far as the passing game goes. The receivers, you hit it before the season on that Feinbaum show, and you said this Georgia receiving core, chances were 3 or 4 games they were really going to make a negative impact, and that's what we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, you just hope Lawrence Cager, he's supposed to practice this week, that he's healthy enough to make it through the season. Look,
wouldn't you rest him this week?
Oh, no, what? No, No, I've got serious concerns against Texas A&M, and I think, again, they're a really good ball team. Here's the thing for Georgia. If they don't turn the ball over, they can win because they've got a really good but if they have a bad drive or have a bad quarter and they get behind, that's where my concerns, as you saw in the South Carolina game, that's where my concerns are for Georgia. So if they run the football and they don't ask for him to do too much and he doesn't put the ball in jeopardy, they should win. But if something goes wrong, that is kind of the part of Georgia's offense that I'm really, really concerned about moving forward. So they've had a lot of leads and they've played ahead, but if they get behind against Texas A&M, no. But I think Texas A&M is a good ball club. They're another one of those teams where you look at their losses and they come to Auburn, Clemson. I mean, they don't have cupcake losses, so they've been battle tested this year.
Yeah, and they'll have a big say as far as the playoffs go with Georgia this week. LSU coming up here in a few days too. So Texas A&M, the challenge in Athens, first time they'll make a visit there since back when I was playing in the 80s, believe it or not. But should be a good senior day. I can't imagine Georgia having an emotional letdown in this game. Senior day, in the mix with the college football playoffs. I wouldn't expect that to happen. Looking for a Georgia win.
Yeah, I expect that too. So be good to see the Dogs come out. And look, everybody else is playing really rink-a-dink opponents around the SEC. Georgia, because of that schedule, they got the toughest game of the week, so they got to get ready to go again.
We'll be back to break it down next week on the Bulldog Breakdown.